Borneo is a very special part of the world. It's not only our close neighbour in Australia, but it's only one of two places where you can find orangutans, which are one of the 4 great apes surviving in the world. Borneo has the majority of the orangutan population in the world.
Current estimates are that there's 20,000 orangutans in Indonesia and Borneo, 5,000 left in Sumatra.
But unless the destruction, which is currently being undertaken by illegal logging and stripping of the forests for palm oil production, unless that can be stopped, orangutans face extinction in the wild within the next 10 years.
There's maybe a third of the rainforest remaining in Indonesia and Borneo, but it's coming out at such a rate that World Wildlife Fund thinks that there will be no habitat left in 10 years. Why have they got to that situation? Because they live in a very limited area, which is the rainforests of Borneo. And the rainforests grow these super valuable timbers, which have been logged out and sent all around the world to be used for furniture.
But in Borneo, we quickly recognised that we really needed to shift the economy away from depending upon destroying orangutan habitat to supporting orangutan habitat. The one that we've focused on is ecotourism. It's getting people up there to have a look at the orangutans, because that graphically demonstrates to locals that people are prepared to pay money to see orangutans.
I'm born in Kumai, like original Kumai.
In my place, it's become the famous place because we have the national park here in Orangutan. So that's a great opportunity if I get involved in tourism.
We want lots of tourists come to Kalimantan, because in Kalimantan we have a lot of little river and nice jungle and nice people also.
By doing this job, I can meet some people coming from some other countries in the world, and also I can get some, knowledge from them.
When I was young, we are farmers, farming. Yeah. We make a rice field down there.
My father or my grandfather, they are a logger. I want to be the first generation who breaks the cycle by doing something else, that not destroying the forest.
So this is what we call karmunting. They have fruits like berries. The orangutan like to eat the fruits.
I think everybody knows in Borneo is a logging. Yes. That's the biggest industry. My father, he used to be a logger too, yeah.
Back in the forest, you have people, subsistence villages, trying to eke out a living.
We live in the forest, so near the forest, so where the access to exploit our forest is very easy.
And logs seem like a good way to do it. And bringing out baby orangutans and selling them.
I found that it's not very sustainable with this kind of job, and that's why I choose to involve in this tourism.
Ecotourism is different from nature-based tourism. It is tourism that is in nature, but it is tourism that aims to conserve nature, aims to educate the community, both the community that is receiving the tourists as well as the tourists themselves, and aims to build the capacity of the local community to maintain that tourism as an alternative industry to logging, mining, other things that are normally found in pristine natural areas. And it's grown into an industry that is often exploited for marketing purposes. Companies will label themselves as ecotourism when in fact they're just tourism and they want to use that, they're nature-based tourism, and they want to use that as a spin to differentiate themselves.
I saw that the only eco-lodge in that area to keep tourists coming to this national park, which is an incredibly big and special national park and has a very large population of wild orangutans and definitely needs to be saved, the Rimba Lodge was the only place that these people could stay. And we went to see Alan and Meryl and were just blown away by their enthusiastic and committed approach to conservation. And Alan said, well, if you come in as partners, we'll buy the lodge and run it together, and that's how that came about.
It was next to a national park. It had a hotel that was very run down and desperately needed assistance, and it fell right into the mandate of what we were trying to do. We have 5 foreign investors. We've got no local investors in this lodge. We manage the lodge, that whereby saying we are Ini Rada Foundation. And they expect a decent set of accounts every year, and within that, if there are surplus funds, we discuss how they're spent. There is no definite amount that would be returned as a dividend. It's probably expected that all surplus funds will be reinvested back.
And I saw just how critical the Rimba was as part of the whole ecotourism thing that I was also involved with through the Australian Orangutan Project. I thought that it was really important that the lodge be well managed, that the lodge embrace the ideals that it was setting for itself, like to work towards the Green Globe accreditation and to work towards managing resources better and being an example of that.
Yes, I think there's a lot of people out there who want to invest their money in the environment and don't know how to do it.
The reason why we wanted to get involved with the Rimba Lodge was because tourism is one industry that local people can make a living out of.
You ready for that?
Yeah.
All right.
And I thought, well, the best way to make sure that this happens and that it really does go down that path is to be a shareholder and to be a part of the process.
When you're running a hotel, somebody has to provide food, there's the staff, there's the tour guide business to take people up into the forest and talk to them about the orangutan situation and tell them about all the other creatures of the forest. There's the boat people, and there's all their families and villages and relatives that depend on them or have offshoots from that.
Certainly all our investors show no interest in making any money at all, and are very serious in what they're doing to try and make this lodge a place that will assist in the environmental protection of this national park.
And I believe very strongly in the role that ecotourism has to play and the absolute criticality of engaging and empowering and involving the local community in that which is part of their destiny, but which, because of the integration of the world, is part of our destiny as well.
I think to protect this species, we have to find the alternative income. So between orangutan and the people, they can let's say live together.
We strongly believe the more tourists we can attract, the more eyes that are in that park, the more powerful we become through them. That tourists themselves are a fantastic tool in environmental protection in this park, because the Indonesian government does listen to tourists.
I would have to say that you have to be nature-based. You have to have concern for the local community or give back to the local community in some way. There's got to be an educational component. You should really have some principles that guide your operations that you abide by. Should be transparency in reporting and accountability for what you do. and there should be some sort of investment back into the community, be it in conserving the environment or in building capacity of the community in some way.
I'd say there's 6 main principles. Well, one is to prove that the environment is essential to your business. The second one is to prove that you've got an area around your hotel that's ecologically sustainable. In other words, the population of animals in that is similar from year to year. Thirdly is the education of your stakeholders, which includes your staff, your guests, the community around you, the travel agents you deal with, and the whole community around your business. Fourthly is the management of your hotel. It should incorporate solar energy, rainwater storage, sewage recycling systems, composting, and the like. The fifth one is a vital understanding of the culture you're living in, and a respect and appreciation of that. And the sixth one is a totally transparent financial system. This lodge is still, we won't answer all those 6, but our mother lodge in Bali does, and has now got a Green Globe Eco accreditation. And our hope is that all our lodges will also reach that same standard. But the Rimba Lodge is going along that path after 1 year in a reasonably smooth manner. In terms of our ecological management, we're not doing too badly here. I mean, we're using rainwater for drinking. We have a sewage recycling system that seems to work. It's very rudimentary.
Use river water and then filter them for take a bath. We use rainwater for drinking water as well. And we also recycle cans and bottles and also all the rubbish.
The big thing that we're not ready is for benchmarking. We have to actually have a hotel that is running smoothly so that you can actually benchmark all our measurements, such as even down to electricity, water use, how much money people are making. You really depend on your staff, and if we can get our staff up to scratch with correct training programs, then it'll be a fantastic lodge.
You don't want something that is higher level management, foreign people coming in, and then lower level staff like housekeeping, restaurant staff being local people. That's just not done anymore. It's giving the locals the opportunity for that higher level management as well.
Each of our lodges is mandated to use people within the area rather than import outsiders. In some cases we do have to import outsiders. So, for example, in this lodge we have to import our financial manager.
Now I see with the new management they're trying to employ more local people to work at Rimba Lodge.
That we have a local manager, that we have local people involved, and that they see that the success of the lodge means that their lives are successful too.
So I'm very happy as a local and involve my people around us to get even more jobs, yeah? Not just a job or income, but also their knowledge. If we can teach our client with our experience and with our knowledge, and I think the ecotourism that has been brought to Tanjung Puting National Park bring a lot of benefit for people, especially for young people like us.
The advantage of having a local guide, it's again a demonstration to the community that orangutans can bring money to the area. Of course, it develops the skill level of the local people, but most importantly, it's a sustainable solution. Our goal is to be able to walk away from this situation in 10 years' time and think that we've actually let the local people, empowered the local people to solve their own problems. And by having a local tour guide system up there, then that's a very important way of doing this.
Akarnya. I enjoy that I can share, I can share my knowledge, and I can educate my tourists about our area, about the relationship between the nature and the local people.
The river, so the river is getting wider. This is the river where some people doing mining here.
I wanted to go to Borneo to see the orangutan, and it was important for me because I've heard that they're to become extinct within 10 years. It was a really unique trip. Once we were there, to realise that it wasn't just the orangutans I came to see, but it was also about the people and how they're helping with the forest and how much it means to their livelihood. To go on this eco tour and to know that my money is helping them help the forest and the future was really beneficial for me and made me feel great. And it's nice to know that you're part of this, helping the solution, than rather travelling and being part of the problem.
Seeing their role as tour guides and seeing their role in the ecotourism industry as a part of a bigger whole and a bigger part of saving the forest and conservation and leaving something for their future and their children and their grandchildren and so on. It's just a really powerful thing.
So cutting-edge ecotourism really looks at tourism that builds the capacity of the community but diversifies the industries as well. So they do that in a number of ways. And giving back to the community so that the community is therefore responsible and making decisions for everything that happens with that ecotourism venture.
The most important thing is the relationship with the local community to me. Apart from providing a good service for guests that come there, is to have a good relationship with locals and that the locals see the lodge as part of their future, and that the tour guides and the boat businesses and the staff all feel as though the lodge is for their future and that they feel committed to it and relate to it, and we don't just lord it over them in how to run it.
Within our management structure, there's at least 50% of surplus funds will be ploughed back into community-based, as yet unidentified projects. I think the main thing we've got to do is to help this village right here. And we have identified a few areas, mainly in the agri-business area, where they could assist us in, first of all, supplying all this lodge's needs.
Dan baru-baru ini kita mencoba juga mengarahkan masyarakat ke arah wisata. Mengingat kita adalah desa yang bertetangga dengan Taman Nasional Tanjung Puting.
We obviously want them to tell us, but we haven't really had a substantial meeting in that area.
Beberapa tahun kita melihat sendiri bahwa banyak taman-taman wisata yang memberikan sedikit alternatif pendapatan untuk masyarakat, misalnya dengan membeli barang-barang kerajinan tangan, atau bahkan kalau misalnya tamu-tamu yang menginap di rumah penduduk.
One of the main things I've got out of being involved in Rimba would be that sense that when you actually put something on the line of your own, that you feel like you're there for the long haul.
We're expecting to make this a successful business that doesn't lose us money and that we have excess money to give to conservation from it. So there's the financial aspect of doing something that's really satisfying.
The return that I'm expecting from having invested in the Rimba is not financial. It's about being able to facilitate a shift in the way in which people live to a more sustainable way.
There's so many interesting that I found, and since I became a tour guide, I learned a lot about our area and about flora and fauna, and it also increased my sense to to own our own area.
I think I wouldn't have got involved in orangutan conservation if I hadn't met the Indonesian people that I'd met. I would have seen it as so dire and so hopeless and had such a negative approach to it that nothing would have drawn me over there. But I've met people with such commitment, such amazing strength of character, and their whole lives depend on saving the forest, and what can they do for it because their livelihood's involved in it, their spirit's involved in it.
Well, on the bank of the river, we have a type of forest called, this is lowland forest, called Genia moteliana.
I think it's because of those sort of people that you've got to support them. If they can have the courage to face it, and with the little amount that they've got, then how can we sit back in our lounge rooms and deny to support them in what they're trying to do as well? And I think there is hope, but I think the biggest stumbling block is the Indonesian government has to be turned around. I mean, we have to do more to lobby the Indonesian government and in how they've got to actually police the anti-logging. But to see that you're actually doing something that's making a difference to people and to animals and getting somewhere is, I guess, the biggest part of it. And then you feel a direct connection with the outcome, which hopefully will be saving that national park and saving those orangutans. I think the future of Rimba Lodge is terrific.
Well, I think it should become a place that services the international and national visitor in terms of a very comfortable, friendly place that they can use as a base to enjoy this park. But it also should earn enough funds to build up the businesses in this local community, and also build up education projects that will assist in the further understanding by the local people of the importance of the asset that they've got.
Because of the Rimba Lodge and the anti-logging patrols, the national park, Tanjung Puding National Park, will be safe, and the orangutans will always be there. And the tourists make a big difference to that because there's a reason for keeping that national park. I think the future of the orangutans is quite bleak, but I presume that the desecration will continue until it gets to a kind of critical point and the Indonesian government will actually step in and say enough's enough.
In the future, it will be good for people around us. If they're more involved and they're more concerned to our nature.
This job is really interesting for me, and I really like doing this job.
I hope the tourists come to Kalimantan again better than now.